layer of smoke covering the city was no longer news. The sun had been hidden behind the clouds for weeks, as if refusing to look at the world. My name is Ayaan, and my home, if you could call it a home, was in the outer edges of the city, nestled among the old lanes. When everything began to collapse, most people either tried to flee or turned their houses into fortresses. I did neither. My house had always been a little neglected. A rusted gate, peeling paint, a thick layer of dust on the windows, and the rain of weeds in the front yard. Now, with destruction all around, my house looked like any other looted home. From the outside, I had presented myself as prey. Initially, a few people came to my door. They rattled the gate, perhaps to see if any valuables were left inside. But when they saw the broken windows, which I had deliberately half repaired, and an old broken bicycle lying in the yard, they simply moved on. They thought they wouldn't find anything here. They were looking for easy targets, and my house was giving them the message. Already looted. Once a group pushed my gate slightly open. My heart pounded. But then, seeing the broken pots and an old lifeless dried plant in front, they assumed the place was deserted and moved on. I knew my greatest strength was my invisibility. I had turned invisibility into my weapon. I did not repeat the mistakes of my neighbors, who had turned their homes into fortresses. Because to win a war, it's not necessary to fight. It's necessary to not be seen. But inside, the story was completely different. From the outside, my house was a ruin, but on the inside, it was a secure vault. The walls of my house were well sealed from the inside. No external light could penetrate. At night, when the whole city was plunged into darkness, a faint candlelight or battery-powered light would glow inside my house. But this light never escaped. I had layers of black cloth and aluminum foil covering the windows. We had also worked extensively on sound. My son, Aarav, loved the game of making no noise. We would communicate with each other through gestures or whispers. Old rugs were spread on the floor to muffle the sound of footsteps. Oil was applied to the doors, and they were wrapped in cloth so they wouldn't make a sound when closed. Silence was my friend. Cooking was the most challenging task. The aroma of dal, lentils, could be an invitation to disaster. We had created a small ventilation system that led directly out through the roof, but we only cooked at night or when the wind was strong, and always in a pressure cooker to minimize the spread of odor. My security method was also unique. I didn't have any state-of-the-art alarm system. Instead, I had scattered dry twigs and stones along the boundary of my courtyard and beneath the windows. This was my silent alarm. If someone approached at night, I would hear the faint sound of the stones under their feet, or the breaking of twigs. My final defense was my safe corner, a small room in the center of the house with the thickest walls. This was our final fallback. It contained water, dried fruits, and first aid supplies for a few days. It was a place where we could hide during the most severe threat. I knew I could never face a large gang. My goal was not to fight, but to survive. Even today, when darkness descends outside and the silence is broken, I peek out of my window, through a tiny hole that no one can see. I live behind a rusty gate in a house that screams to the world, "There is nothing left here." And that is my greatest defense. Would you like me to write the third part of this story, where Ayaan and his family sense a great danger?